Every stone you touch, every building you live in and pass by each day, is quietly waiting for the day it will finally crumble into dust. These magnificent cities that surround us are nothing more than shadows, awaiting their own day of destruction. Those gleaming glass towers that pierce the sky, the suspension bridges, and the modern homes we call our own, all of them were built with an expiration date, long before our own stories come to an end. We spend our lives inside paper castles, castles that can scarcely withstand a single century against the relentless gears of time. Now, let us draw back the grand curtain of history and travel 2,000 years into the past, to the rugged shores of the Mediterranean, upon the hills where Caesar's palaces once rose, along the colossal breakwaters of Baiae, battling the fury of the sea, and beneath the mighty dome of the Pantheon, whose shadow stretches across the ages, a secret lies hidden. The stones cast in that era never surrendered to time, for that ancient mortar did not weaken as centuries passed. Instead, it seemed to feed upon the very breath of the universe, sealing its own fractures with its own essence, like a living organism mending itself from within. While we search for perfection beneath the shadow of our own fragile concrete, how did the sages of the ancient world manage to embed a formula capable of defying time itself into the heart of stone? Prepare yourselves. We continue our journey into understanding the ancient blueprint hidden behind the modern world. This is ArcheoTech. Imagine standing at the very heart of those magnificent structures, your hand resting upon the stone body of history itself. As you raise your eyes, colossal marble columns that have swallowed centuries rise before you. Mighty arches seem to shoulder the heavens themselves, and enormous breakwaters grow stronger with every assault of the sea. With every step, you feel the noble coolness of ancient walls. You marvel at how time itself appears to bend beneath architecture so grand, it seems beyond the work of human hands. The structures built by the Romans were not merely masses of stone, they were living monuments, monuments that time itself struggled to wear away, monuments capable of humbling the human mind. Humanity's memory has recorded today's proud skyscrapers as the ultimate pinnacle of engineering. Yet, hidden between the lines of forgotten ages, lies a truth that modern science overlooked for centuries. The concrete structures we build today as shelters are doomed to decay the moment water finds its way inside. Moisture corrodes the steel skeleton within. The expanding rust fractures the surrounding concrete from the inside. And slowly, silently, the structure begins preparing its own downfall. Roman architecture, however, did not seek to resist the order of nature. The people of that age understood the language of the universe. They had woven the wisdom of earth and fire into the very fabric of their lives. To them, stone was not an inert material. It was a living part of the cosmic order. What was the hidden secret behind these stones that have endured the salty waters of the Mediterranean for nearly 2,000 years? While we see matter merely as a resource to consume, they seemed to possess an inspiration whispered from centuries yet to come, an inspiration that allowed them to weave timelessness itself into the soul of stone. Eventually, the quiet discovery that would overturn generations of assumptions finally arrived. When modern researchers examined this ancient mortar, they noticed something that had been overlooked for centuries. Tiny, white mineral fragments scattered throughout the stone. For years, these particles were dismissed as signs of poor craftsmanship. Many assumed the Romans had simply failed to mix their concrete properly. Yet, the human mind is often inclined to mistake what it does not understand for imperfection. Where the eye saw error, hidden wisdom lay waiting. Researchers at MIT sensed that the brilliant minds of antiquity could not have made such an obvious mistake. They subjected these lime fragments to deeper analysis, and then the truth emerged. Those white inclusions that modern observers had casually dismissed as carelessness were, In fact, the very source of the concrete's longevity, the hidden essence from which its extraordinary resilience was born. But how did these tiny fragments of lime breathe life into an otherwise lifeless mass of stone? When the Romans prepared their mortar, they did not quietly extinguish and neutralize the lime with water. Instead, they combined quicklime directly with volcanic ash. As the quicklime met the mysterious ashes of Vesuvius and water, a kind of alchemical fire ignited within the mixture. Temperatures surged toward 200 degrees Celsius, and the mortar was literally forged in fire. This process, now known as hot mixing, created tiny reservoirs of lime hidden within the concrete, small fortresses that would become the source of its remarkable longevity. Centuries later, whenever the slightest crack appeared, nature itself would gently intervene. As rainwater or seawater seeped through the fracture and reached one of these hidden lime pockets, the stone seemed to awaken from a deep sleep. The dissolved lime flowed into the damaged area, and upon contact with air, it crystallized into calcium carbonate. The stone healed its own wounds, using its own substance, a structure created by human hands, repairing itself, centuries after its builders were gone. Yet, the story becomes even more extraordinary in the endless struggle between sea and land. Ordinarily, relentless waves and corrosive saltwater reduce modern harbors to ruin within decades. But in Roman ports, the stone appears to gain strength from the assault. The volcanic ash, known as pozzolana, forms a remarkable bond with the elements inside the concrete when exposed to seawater. And over time, something extraordinary begins to happen. Rare crystals start to grow within the stone itself, crystals known as aluminous tobermarite, a mineral so unusual that it is rarely formed under natural conditions. In other words, as water penetrates the stone, Roman concrete does not weaken. It grows stronger. Its particles knit together more tightly. Its internal structure becomes more resilient. And with every passing century, the material moves one step closer to becoming part of nature itself. Not merely a construction material, not merely an invention, but something that exists in harmony with the forces surrounding it. The Romans did not build against nature. They did not attempt to overpower it. They studied it. They understood it. And then, they invited its power into their creations. What we often call durability today is little more than resistance. Resistance against weather, resistance against water, resistance against time. But Roman engineers appear to have pursued something entirely different. Not resistance, cooperation. Rather than fighting the natural world, they found a way to make nature their ally, and in doing so, they gave stone an enduring breath of life. If we possess the secret of a material capable of lasting for 2,000 years, a material that can heal its own wounds, a material that exists in harmony with the earth itself, then why does the world continue to fill itself with structures destined to become rubble within a few decades? The answer may not be a matter of technical limitation. Perhaps it is something deeper. Perhaps modern civilization has chosen to value the temporary. Perhaps the calm permanence of timeless things feels too burdensome for a world obsessed with speed, consumption, and endless replacement. We build faster, we consume faster, we replace faster, yet somehow we rarely build for centuries. Perhaps humanity, in its pursuit of convenience, has forgotten something essential. Not merely how to construct, but how to endure. Are we truly at peace inside these modern shelters we build and discard so quickly? Or have we become satisfied with appearances, while forgetting the ancient wisdom hidden beneath them? Are our cities truly homes, or are they glittering cages of concrete, gently lulling us into a fleeting dream? The answer is yours to decide. The past never truly ended. It simply redesigned itself. And while we believe we live in a modern world, we may still be following principles discovered thousands of years ago. Principles hidden in stone, in earth, and in the forgotten ingenuity of those who came before us. Because the greatest technologies are not always the newest. Sometimes they are the ones that survived, the ones that whisper across the centuries, waiting for us to listen, to remember, and perhaps to build differently once again. This is ArcheoTech, decoding ancient engineering. If you enjoyed this exploration, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Until next time, take care.